Now, the announcements from President Trump and Iran that the Strait of Hormuz is open sent oil prices plunging and stocks soaring today. The Dow closed up more than 800 points, while the S&P 500 crossed over 7,100 for the first time. Let's take a look at our interactive stock market heat map brought to you by FinViz, showing the top 500 stocks. A lot of green on this board you see here. Major tech stocks stayed in positive territory, while the energy sector, that includes oil and gas, ended up in the red. So I want to bring in CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. Kelly, what's driving the investor optimism, and could we see lower gas prices soon, finally?
I know, everyone's waiting for that, especially as all those summer road trips are coming up. So look, very simply, what's driving the optimism is the hope that this is all coming to an end soon, that the Strait of Hormuz will actually be open, stay open, and that things are going to calm down, that the temperature will be taken down in the Middle East, and that there won't be sort of this will they, won't they, will the fighting start again? Because that is really what drove many days of stock market losses. It was oil prices rising. It was the concern that things were going to get worse. Now, what I want to emphasize is this is investors betting that things are going to get better. That doesn't mean that it will happen, because essentially when investors put their money into a stock market, they're putting their money into companies, and companies will do better when oil prices aren't as high, when prices aren't rising. And so it's really about what will happen in the future. Now, in terms of what will actually happen for consumers, because I always say the stock market is not the economy, gas prices, it's going to take a number of months for them to get back to where they were prior to the start of the war. My colleague Jill Schlesinger, she always says gas prices take the elevator up, but the stairs down. It's always slower to see them come back down. I think that's a really great analogy for us all to think about when we go to the gas pump. That being said, even versus a week ago, we have seen gas prices come down a little bit, 6 or 7 cents, depending on where you are, because we have seen oil prices come down. But remember, it's not just the Strait of Hormuz reopening. We have a production supply crunch because so many refineries, oil fields, energy infrastructure was either damaged or shut down during the bombing. And so it's going to take a while for all of that to get online and for it to flow through to gas prices for consumers. But again, this is a step in the right direction, and that's really why you saw all of that green on the screen with the FinViz that you just sort of put up.
Yeah, a step in the right direction is always a good thing. We like steps in the right direction. I want to go to a different headline that we're following today. CEO of Anthropic went to the White House. We know the AI company has a troubled relationship with the Pentagon. So what was the purpose of this meeting?
Yeah, it kind of, maybe there's some thawing, right, when you're seeing these two sides come together. This was specifically about Anthropic's new AI model that we've been talking about, Mythos, and it is supposed to be incredibly advanced and really good at identifying weaknesses and security flaws in software. So much so that they are only allowing it to be used by a certain number of companies. It's called Project Glasswing in terms of who they've allowed access to this, because they're also concerned about it getting out to the average person, because if it's really good at finding security flaws, right, that would be good for a company to use to identify those security flaws and patch them up. But it would also be very concerning for it to fall into the hands of a hacker who could identify those security flaws for a nefarious reason, right? And so they are meeting to discuss this model and, sort of the potential for it, and, potentially being used by certain agencies. So I think everyone sort of from the outside looking in is wondering if this is a thawing. We'll see how that meeting goes, but definitely all about this incredibly advanced technology that Anthropic, that at least in the circles that I'm talking to, there's a lot of optimism, but also a lot of concern about what it could do.
Sure. Kelly O'Grady, thank you so much.